revenge leads to 2 graves. That's why you've got to kill them all, so there's no one left to revenge.
That's an interesting point. I don't know the answer.
You can't control whether or not they're going to revenge you. You can't control whether or not you complete your job.
I feel like if it were me, and this is just because I'm very like protective, I'm very protective of like my own tribe. I feel like if what is the third option? Slavery, like total slavery, where like you cut off all their legs. Like what is the third option? Right? This is what memory.
Yeah, but I
mean, it's like magic. Like,
I don't know what's the third option.
And then you can guarantee in the future that they would never be able to do anything.
Leaflit, honestly, bro, I could think of like 10 different options before what you are talking about. Extermination, slavery, enslavement. What the fuck are we talking about, man? Like, I don't know, Leaflit. Maybe we could just like do nothing. Maybe that would unironically, like, I'm not saying we should do that, right? But that would be better than, exterminating or enslaving. Like, I think that would be better, right? I think that if we lived in a world that these people think we live in, which is where, like, the Mujahideen has an AK-47 to my whole family's head right now, and they're about to pull the trigger. All right. Welcome back to J-Star. It's late. I'm gonna drink a soda anyway. I've been up for, like, 24 hours. Anyway. Let's watch Leaflit.
Deontologist hate. Oh, people know I'm all about the deontologist hate. I say deontologist like it's a curse word.
Yeah, I don't like them either. I'm not a fan.
My freaking deontologist.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Chad, am I stupid? The fuck is deontology? Deontology. In moral philosophy, deontology is Greek for duty or obligation. The study of obligation. That's what deontology is. It's the normative ethical theory that the morality of an action should be based on whether that action itself is right or wrong under a series of rules and principles, rather than based on the consequences of the action. Wow, interesting. See, I'm more of a man of consequence, you know? Like, a lot of people, when they bring this up without really realizing they're bringing it up, they talk about communism, the death of communism. Like, it doesn't matter what the communists wanted. They ended up killing a bunch of people, okay? But that's like ignoring a bunch of facts and whatnot. But to some extent, I agree with it, right? Like, Mao Zedong, he had good intentions. I believe that. Other communists believe that, right? And historians believe that. Okay, they agree with it. But he did, in fact, in collaboration with others, accidentally cause a mass starvation in his country with the Four Pests campaign. And so he had good intentions, right? But the consequences of his actions were disastrous. And that matters, right? That he bears some responsibility for that decision. It doesn't matter what his intentions were, because he was wrong. That's what I think. But just to be clear, I still love Mao Zedong. Right? Yes, he did accidentally kill a fuck ton of people, but he also did a lot of good. And also, it was inarguably, demonstrably, an accident, and that does matter, in my opinion.
Deontologists isn't free. Well, because they externalize the cost of their morality to third parties, and that's what I find really repulsive about the ideology. A great example of this is not having kids. I will allow humanity to go extinct so I can maintain my personal deontological moral purity.
The red button, blue button's a good example. Like modern,
yes.
like a good
what is
example
the argument
now, like
for that?
More recent, everyone knows about.
So
I don't understand.
Repent. Murder is people in the Bible murder people all the time. Like it's like there's this one instance, like Cain and Abel, where they're like, this is a murder that's bad. And now remember, when you take over a city, remember to throw the babies from rooftops and murder all the men. It's like, what? Right? And people are like, well, it's a war. It's not really murder. It's like, well, okay, you know, it's still killing, right? It's still killing of innocent people, right?
It's different though. It's different though, right? I guess.
Age and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, don't make that point with Leaflit. Don't make that point with Leaflit, man. Yeah, she's not gonna agree with you. All right, here we go. Leaflit. Here's what Leaflit is about to start talking about. Okay, for the next 20 minutes, Leaflit is going to argue and probably occasionally go on some tangent about how killing children is sometimes acceptable. And the thing is, right, in Leaflit's made-up mind scenarios, right, I'm already predicting this, killing a child is acceptable. You can imagine a hypothetical, right, where a child may need to be killed for the greater good, to save more people. All right, like I don't know. Let's look at The Last of Us. All right, and let's assume that if you don't know the story of The Last of Us, I'm gonna spoil it. Okay, so skip ahead. Skip ahead if you don't want to know. Ellie is, you know, the main character. Right, we'll call her the main character. And she is immune from zombie virus. Okay, zombie pathogen. Okay, turns people into zombies. Okay, so everyone is infected with it, and when they die, they'll turn into a zombie. Okay, but Ellie, oh yeah, and actually, if anyone gets bitten, right, they'll turn into a zombie. Actually, my bad. I was thinking of something else. Different. Okay, anyway, you get bit by a zombie, you become a zombie. That's the way it works. Bada bing, bada boom. Ellie, she got beat in turn. Interesting. So, at the end of the story, it is revealed that a doctor wants to kill her and to create a cure. Okay, now, let's... You know, one of the factors in the game is, you know, that's not going to work. Okay, it's a zombie apocalypse, right? You're not going to get the cure out of her brain, okay, from killing her. You're just not. It's stupid. That was my thought process anyway. But for the sake of argument, let's say that they definitely could get the cure, but she has to die. Okay, is that morally right? Well, I would say I'd say that's tough. Okay, that now there are arguments for both sides, right? Is the death of an innocent child worth it to save humanity, save civilization, the planet, even? Right? Because there's also, you have to account for the cross-contamination as well, right? So, like, they kill Ellie, they can start rebuilding, they can start curing everyone, right? You know, to me, I don't know. I'm kind of undecided on that. I'm not a smart man, right? But, like, I feel like kill that child, you know? I feel like, but here's the thing, though. The Last of Us is a video game, right? And that would never happen in real life. Like, that's, you know... It's not gonna fucking happen. Like, even if the zombie apocalypse does happen, which is incredibly unlikely, it is even further more unlikely that the death of an innocent child by the hands of a surgeon will cure humanity. Okay, so while it is sort of an interesting thought experiment, it's not practical. It has no practical use, okay? And in Leaflet's case, she is going to try and use this conversation to justify the murder of innocent children in real life, in the today time, right? Like those Iranian school children that were bombed, they were killed, right? 100. So that's what she's gonna do. Let's hear it.
Children, if it's people who pose no threat to you, then it is murder.
Right.
Yeah,
and
it's not
they can say,
self-defense.
well, those rules updated, right? Okay. Well, at one point God was okay with this, right? Like, and so then people can say, well, why is God okay with this at one point, and then he wasn't okay with it at another point? And it's because God is a consequentialist and not a deontologist. Okay, God changes the morality that he gives man based on the context.
Killing in self-defense definitely is murder. Well, no. So the example that was brought up is like the kids. Like, you kill the sons of, like, you know, that they didn't do anything, so then that becomes murder.
Killing the kids is not in self-defense after you conquered a city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And God also did the whole flood thing, right? You know, so that was a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, Cain and Abel is a story of pride, right? And what is pride anyway? What is it? It's like the original sin. So you see that I'd say that pride is one of the most like common sins that pops up in the Bible and also real life. Okay, now if anybody disagrees with me about that, I'm willing to hear you out, but I see pride like Like the other ones, you know, are they like real? You know, do they happen? Of course. Like you see sin everywhere, right? If you know where to look, and sometimes healthy things look like sin, right? Like a normal sexual relationship can look like lust. Excuse me. Healthy boundaries can look like pride. Okay? It can happen. Right? So you have to like be careful about what you label things as. You have to like analyze things and anyway, you should only like consider labeling what someone else is doing a sin if you're sure of it, and you know it has like, you know, consequence, and you know what the consequence is, basically. That's what I think. And also, by the way, you might be wrong. That's the third part. Okay.
People died.
Third thing is you might be wrong.
In killing the kids. Like, you conquer a city, you kill the kids. Some of those kids are not bad people, right? Like, you know, so, but then why did God, you know, tell people to do that, right? Well, he told people to do that because those kids are going to grow up and then take revenge, and so you gotta, you know, be aware of the realities of war, right? Like,
I don't even know. Star Wars. Which one's that one?
The war one. Do you want me to pull this one up?
Yeah.
One?
Mm-hmm.
It's good that I tell people to.
Goblin Slayer did it. Yeah, I know. That was the whole point of that episode of Goblin Slayer. Was that is it moral or not to kill the Goblin kids, right? Because if you don't kill them, then they'll. I mean, there's a lot of cases like this too, right? Where, you know, the case of like the I actually had a debate with someone about this recently.
Okay, so here it is, by the way, for people wondering. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who is known by a man by sleeping with him. But the young girls who have not known a man by sleeping with him, keep him alive for yourselves.
Wait, where's this?
Another one here, Deuteronomy 20:16-17. But in the cities of these people that your Lord God is giving you for inheritance, you shall save alive nothing that breathes, but you shall devote them to complete destruction. Hittites, Amorites, etc. This includes everyone. And then in Samuel 15:3, now go strike Amalek and devote to destruction all that they have. Do not spare them, but kill both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey. So like at one point, this was God's morality. So the reason God changes the moral rules is because God's a consequentialist.
Oh yeah, literally says that in there. Yeah, now go attack the Amalekites and totally destroy all that belongs to them. Do not spare them. Put to death men and women. And the women wouldn't have been combatants at this time either, right? Children and infants, even the animals. Kill the cattle, the sheep, the cow.
That was killing the animals, man. You kind of, you know, just being like, don't. Those animals could become Amalekite again. You never know. They could be influencing your children.
Maybe they were diseased. Maybe they didn't have good hygiene. You know.
Well, I think that you know, we should, when we conquer a region, kill the native population. I mean, there's problems if you completely overwhelmingly conquer a region. Like there's cultural reasons for that, right? Like I might be
theoretically.
I'm gonna for this, you know.
Well, I mean, it makes sense pragmatically, right? If you consider the time that this happened, right? Because what that led to was them revenging you later, right? The sons would revenge you later.
Right.
So that's kind of why they would do it, because it was to protect their own children.
Okay, so what you're describing is actually just imperialism. Okay, now imperialism in ancient times, it looked a lot different from the form it takes nowadays. In a way, it had more legitimacy, right? But it's all the same. Okay. You go to a new land, you conquer it. If the people do not assimilate quick enough, you exterminate. That's what is being described here.
Progressive statement. Break the cycle of violence. Break the cycle of violence. I beg you. Don't put this on the next generation.
Yeah. So to kind of elaborate, what he's saying is back in the you gotta understand, we're really lucky to be alive in this time. Like you guys don't understand. Like you're so lucky to be alive now and not like, you know, there's a lot of people that fantasize about living in, you know, kind of a medieval age or whatever like that, right? But barbarians, right? So here's how I go. Like you'd sack a place because they were going to war with you, right? And then you don't kill the sons and the children. They grow up hating you and they're like, can't wait to get revenge on those guys that killed my dad. And then they go kill you, and then they do the same, and then the same thing happens again, right? Because now they're the ones who took over your thing, and your sons are like, wow, I want to kill the guys who killed my dad, and it just keeps happening back and forth. Basically, that's kind of the idea behind it.
And in my stellar humanist future, right? If somebody revolts or opposes my faction, straight that scene from Star Wars, the Anakin, you know, like even the younglings, you know, like.
Well, see, here's the interesting thing, right? So let's change the situation like slightly. Let's say that you imagine this, okay, chat, that you are the village leader of this place, and this other country was like going to war with you all the time, right? You finally beat them. You have Merlin, and Merlin goes, hey, I can look into the future. Here's the future, right? Touch this, and it will show you the future. And what it shows you is the other people's sons then killing your kids in the future.
Yeah.
Like, would you then at that point kill them or not?
Exactly.
Right?
People say revenge leads to two graves. That's why you've got to kill them all, so there's no one left to revenge.
That's an interesting point. I don't know the answer.
Because you can't control whether or not they're going to revenge you. You can't control whether or not you complete your job.
I feel like if it were me, and this is just because I'm very like protective, like I'm very protective of like my own tribe. I feel like if I were in this situation, I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it, or at least minimize them to the point that it was impossible. But see, that has risk too.
Too brutalist. This is American culture, though, and this is the thing. This is why American culture is I think,
right about
very
this.
different from a lot of other.
I'm a Jaegerist. Well, no, because see, to me, it's not a neutral, right? So like, this is the problem. Is to me, it's not if I let them live, if I kill them or not. Like, it's a neutral. Like, as in, like, do I?
This is American culture. All right, that's exactly what this is. And there is some truth to what they're saying. Okay, like, when you murder the Mujahideen, right, what are you doing? What are you doing? The answer is you're killing a father. You're killing a brother. You're killing a son. A nephew. A cousin. The person you kill has people in their life that they are important to. And one or more of them has now become a Mujahideen. Okay, that's how it works. That's how this shit works. Okay, so you can take the maximalist, you know, stance on this and say, okay, well, if that's how it works and there are people mad at us and they want to kill us, then we just need to exterminate all of them and problem solved, okay? But that's not really gonna work, man, because that is something called genocide. Okay, that's something called ethnic cleansing. And even if you do successfully carry it out, which you won't, there will be survivors, then the world looks on in shock and awe and anger, and they will look for punishment. The rest of the world will condemn you. You will have nothing. And you think, oh, but the United States is so powerful. Too powerful. It will never falter. Oh, say, can you... I'm not going to do the whole song, okay? But, like, dude, it can happen to us. The Nazis, they thought they were, you know, impervious. And also fragile in a way. You see the same thought process with conservatives in America today. American nationalists. Christian nationalists. You see the same thought process. I wonder why that is. So anyway, if that's not the answer, you know, extermination, J-Star, then what do we do about the people that are mad at us for killing their loved ones? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. It's something called reparations. Reparations. Yes, America. No, we can't do that. No, we don't have enough money. No. Look, American, average American, I know you're poor. Okay, I know. I'm not saying that you need to pay the Mujahideen. Okay, it's not you that needs to pay it. It's our government. Okay, and if the government would, like, you know, tax the rich, and then they have some money, and then they're like, here, Mujahideen, sorry we bombed you for 30 years. Here's a bunch of money because we owe it to you, because we bombed you for 30 years. Then, you want to know what I think will happen? I think the Mujahideen is going to be like, alright, we're chill.
Kill them or not, because
we chill, dog.
No, if I don't kill them, then that affects my future children. Then I care about my children more. Does that make sense?
Like, I care about my children more than I care about their children. I care about their descendants more than I care about other people's descendants. And it's sort of like effed up that we as a society have forgotten that. We're like, no, everybody's children matter equally. It's like, no, like, obviously my children matter more than your children, you knob. People are like, that's so narcissistic. I'm like, fine.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked about this before, where people ask me, like, okay, like, if you had a button, and, like, on one hand it was your family, and on the other hand it was, like, a million random people, like, which one who'd you kill? Like, I kill a million random people. Like, what are you talking about? I do it every single time.
Yeah, man, I know. You care about your family. I care about my family. We all care about our families more than the next family. Okay, wow. So this should dictate all of my geopolitical discourse, right? This should be the center of every single thought I ever have ever when it comes to political views. Yeah, man. Genius, okay? Let's not think critically about, like, what can be done to reduce the most harm globally. Let's just think about, like, I don't know, exterminating people that have no chance at killing us anyway.
Time.
So he said the sins of the father don't, in Christianity and in Judaism, the sins of the father do not pass on to the children.
They don't know.
So
it's kind of pragmatic, I guess. It's a pragmatic take, right?
While the Bible is super clear that the sins of the father don't pass on to the children, in many ways, like, you're taking on, by making it so your children don't have to deal with this stuff, you're taking on the moral responsibility. You know, even if you take the sins onto yourself, you're doing, like, a positive for them.
Well, let's say, is there a third option? Well, the answer to that is you don't know, right?
Sterilization is a third option.
No, because if they would still grow up. They would still grow up and still wage war on you. So it's like, what is the third option? Slavery? Like total slavery? Where, like, you cut off all their legs? Like, what is the third option, right? This is what memory?
Ray,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like magic, right? Like,
I don't know. What's the third option?
And then, you know, you can guarantee in the future that they would never be able to do anything.
Leaflit, honestly, bro, I could think of like 10 different options before what you are talking about. Extermination, slavery, enslavement. What the fuck are we talking about, man? Like, I don't know, Leaflit. Maybe we could just like do nothing. Maybe that would unironically, like, I'm not saying we should do that, right? But that would be better than exterminating or enslaving. Like, I think that would be better, right?
Nuclear technology.
I think that if we lived in a world that these people think we live in, which is where like the Mujahideen has an AK-47 to my whole family's head right now, and they're about to pull the trigger. Okay, I think that laying down and just like dying in that situation is better than exterminating an entire ethnic population and or enslaving the survivors.
Because you can take technology from people that hate you and then use it against.
That's
what I mean.
insane,
it's
man.
It's at what point are you willing to risk your children? And I think the problem with me is that I would never do that. I wouldn't take that risk at all.
A lot of people
Dude, you know what, Leaflet? I completely disagree with you. I'd kill my children. I'd kill my children. Fuck them. I'd blast them myself. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm a woke-tard, right? That's what we want.
And they're like, oh, you mean like
that's what the
woke
woke-tards want.
If you put them in a
Kill my baby! Kill my baby!
No, I don't. Malcolm, I gotta tell you something. I don't know famous people. I don't know any famous people.
Little Kurt. So it's from a video game. The famous one, the black and white one about the sister and brother who hook up.
Oh, wait, I know that.
And there's a scene in it where she locks a girl in a box and she dies because she seals the box. That's what I'm saying. Put him in a box.
I've never played that game.
Did I hear incest?
See, this is like really interesting because I feel like a lot of people haven't thought about this. And the thing is, the reason I've thought about it so much is because I carry a weapon.
Drinking a Diet
very
Coke?
aware of like my morality in terms of
what is he
like,
drinking?
How do I explain it? If you don't know what you would, if you don't pre-think about what you're gonna do in a situation, it'll cause you to hesitate. So like if you carry a weapon at all, you have to be 100% locked into like your flowchart in your head, like your moral framework. So like, I'll give you an example, right? Like a lot of people would hesitate. Like for instance, if a 10-year-old kid pulled a gun on me, right? Like a lot of people would hesitate. I wouldn't. I'd blast the kid like instantly, right? And see like people would hesitate there. And this is why like I'm thinking about.
Dude, why would a 10-year-old pull a gun on you? What do you think the odds are that a 10-year-old pulls a gun on, right? Like, how many people has that happened? You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say like that's never happened, right? But like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? I'd blast a child. Like, this is not. I've said this before with Leaflit. Okay, I know I'm a broken record, right? But this is just not a normal thing to think about, ever. It doesn't matter what conversation you're having. Like keep in mind, Leaflit has thoughts like this. She shares thoughts like this all the time. All the time. She said it multiple times. Yeah, I would murder the child if the child did something bad that I didn't like. I'd murder him. Okay, it's like, okay, well, that's insane, right? You're insane for thinking of that. Right, like if that happened in real life, right? Would you be justified? Like, okay, all right, it's like an evil baby or whatever, right? Like, go back in time, kill Hitler, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. But like, that's never gonna happen, right? So like, why are we talking about it? Like, this is not a useful hypothetical. What? Like, okay, even if you concede, like, oh, it isn't realistic, but like you just don't understand hypotheticals, libtard. Okay, well, what is the purpose of? What are you saying? Because I legitimately, I don't understand. I don't understand. You're basically saying like, oh, well, in some situations, it's okay to kill children. Like, if they're completely innocent, but like, I think they might grow up to not like me. Well, okay. Well, that's fucked up. That's fucked up, man, because we don't live in 200 we don't live in the year 200 anymore. Okay, we live in the now time, Leaf. The right now time. It's the current year. Killing babies. That's like that's not okay. Okay, it's just not. Is this really the hill you want to die on? You want to die on the hill. You want people to say, no, Leaflit. No, I draw the line here. Killing babies is wrong. Really? why are you doing this? Why? It just goes to show conservatives will say anything. They will say anything for clicks. This is just, it's so desperate. It's so brazen. What are you doing, dude?
Like, I hope I'll never be in those, right? But there's maximal positions of like, well, am I risking my family for random people, right?
Yeah.
That meant me harm in the first place.
I mean, this is the externalizing of, when I talk about like the deontologists who externalizes their moral cost, when they say, I'm going to forgive somebody, this person did some horrible thing, but I'm going to forgive them, and then that person ends up, raping somebody else. They've externalized the moral cost of their forgiveness.
This
right?
happens a lot. This happens a lot nowadays with like with criminals and judges, like letting them out, right? Oh, like he was just like drugs, bad childhood or something. Yeah. It's like everybody understands this, like on a level that's just not. Of course, in the case where we're talking about tribes and children, this is like the highest and maximum of this decision, right? But we're,
Yeah, so there was a case where, Nazareth was saying he felt no sympathy for the person, but I think he didn't do a good job explaining why. So there was a case where this guy murdered this woman's mom, and he got out of jail, and then she gave the guy a job and had her move in with her.
I remember that,
to try to help the guy, and then he murders her. And the reality is that in many ways, all the things she did, all the lobbying she did to get that guy out of jail early, he could have murdered somebody other than her. She could have been externalizing her moral cost. It's just by luck it ended up being her.
I see what you mean, yeah.
And this is why I'm so disgusted by the deontological framework, even though people think that it feels good in the moment. So I take a very negative stand. But we gotta conquer the stars. We can't. The forces arrayed against us are more evil than we could conceivably imagine. They want us dead. They want everything we've built dead. They don't care if humanity is eradicated.
Okay. Who? See, I agree with you. It's just we need to be specific with who we're talking about, because when you say the powers that be, right, different people have a different idea of who those powers are. Okay, am I making sense right now? Am I crazy?
Like, I want to kill like all white men, women, and children.
Oh yeah, all the time people say that.
Go on, sorry, I might be confusing conversations because I have like.
Yeah, somebody's like, don't you need both deontology? Yeah, you do need deontology and consequential. Deontology is useful for knights and people who are in lower caste follower positions, but I assume that most of our audience here isn't that type of person.
Do you have a video specific? Because I saw one video about this where you were talking about the female and male versions of like different archetypes.
Yeah, look up the video we have called "The Morality of Knights and Kings" or something like that, where what we point out is there's this idea in like the red pill community that like everybody needs to be a king, right? And we argue that that's wrong, right? Like there are many ways to be masculine. You can be a masculine follower. Knights are masculine followers, and in many ways they're more masculine than a king. But what's expected from a knight and a king are different. A knight just has to follow orders. He needs to believe that the people above him have thought through everything, and he just does what he's told. And this is what your average midwit is expected from them. Kings, unfortunately, can never be deontologists. They can never say, well, I won't do an ambush because that's immoral, because then they externalize the moral cost of that onto their soldiers and their people. And
I feel like a lot of people have trouble with this again, like, because it feels bad. It definitely feels bad to do or to say, right? Like to make a call, like okay, like we gotta raise this fucking entire city. It feels bad, but like when you're trying to protect like your own people. Well, I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, sorry.
But I'm sorry, I'm just reading comments and everything like that, trying to make sure, because I want to address them. I'll try to address.
People are gonna clip this out of completely.
Oh,
God, be so
wow.
No, but like I actually believe this though. I thought about all of this. You know what I mean? Like this is shit that.
Is this your first time like meta analyzing hierarchy? Right. Wow, yeah, people in the big power, they make decisions, and then the people under them do the things that they might not really agree with all that much, but they wow. Oh no way. Oh wow.
About, what I would do in like these situations, like if I were
guys,
what would I have to do, and like sometimes you have to do things
critical
like,
over here.
This is what I mean.
I mean, I think
this is the overlord thing with the overlord thing where like with the kid, they were using the kid as armor, and everybody was like, oh, well, we can't do, I guess this is over. We're gonna retreat now because we can't fight them. They're using kids as armor, and then fucking what's his name? Irons is just like
so
fireball.
realistic.
They were like, wait, you can't do that. And he's like, no, I said fireball.
Okay, so I watched all of the Overlord anime after you suggested this. It never got better, by the way, and this scene never happened. Is this a movie or something?
It's a movie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You want to watch it? I can probably put it up right now. I don't know if that's
No. Okay, Overlord is not good. I was like, when does it get good? Because everyone was like, oh, it's not good.
The movie was the best because the movie was the best part. That scene was so fucking peak. And then there was that thing where so he blows up. He blows up the dude, right? And then the one of the villagers goes like, you killed my kid. What the fuck, right? And he goes, yeah, well, what the fuck were you doing? How did your kid get captured? Why weren't you? Why are you still alive right now? Like you should be dead trying to save your kid, right? Like,
I don't know. I thought Overlord's a bit too much of a dick in the show. Like he does a bunch of like dick stuff that I'm just like, there's no that didn't actually have a purpose.
No, it was like that guy. It's always that guy. What's his name? The demon guy. That's like his second in command. That guy is always doing his dick shit. Demiurgus, yeah.
This calls it. This could leads to the downfall of democracy because leaders do stuff. Yeah, and this is why democracy sucks sometimes. Because
democracy's ass.
Leaders are appealing to the morality of the lowest common denominator instead of what needs to be done. Now, I won't say that we have found a better system than democracy because we haven't. But this is one of the big flaws of democracy, and we're seeing it played out throughout our society right now.
Dude, can I say I love these conversations because most people don't want to have them because they're so uncomfortable, right?
I love reading like the comments on our videos afterwards, right? And people are like, man, this reminds me of like getting drunk with like my nerd friends back in the day for like a LAN party or something. Yeah. And we just talk about like spicy stuff that like,
it's totally uncomfortable to talk about like, if you were the leader in the situation, like if we had to make a hard decision, like would you do it, right?
This person, another lie. Okay, just like when he was talking about like how he gets women with his gay friend, which When I say it like that, it almost sounds more ridiculous than what he actually said. But anyway, this person had no friends. This person did not put together. Look, I knew, motherfucker. I currently know Gen Xers that put LAN parties together, massive LAN party. Okay, with like teams in the 90s, right? In the Counter-Strike days. Yeah, in the Gold Source days, in the Quake days, in the Counter-Strike days. And like, I know the type. Okay, this guy didn't have any friends. This guy had like weird chud friends that were bitchless and complained about it.
I'm very clear about what's morally good and what's morally bad, and I don't really I just need to think through it. And people are like, "Well, what if you're wrong? What if you don't have all the information?" And I'm like, "Then I didn't have all the information. I need to take into account how sure I am with the information I have when I make any decision." But at the end of the day, when you have a good heuristic for making decisions, you can always know that you made the choice with the information you had that was the most moral choice that you could have.
You want to know a spicy one? I got a spicy one for you.
Go, yeah.
All right, so let's say you're carrying a gun, okay? And you're at the mall. You're by yourself, right? You're by yourself at the mall, and there's a mall shooter that starts going around, and you have a gun. What do you do?
Run away.
That's what I said. And people were like, people were like, "Wow, Leaflit, really? Like, you can stop the people from shooting them, from, you can ambush them or whatever, like you can do that." And I say this every single time, not worth the risk, because me dying is not even, it's not only me dying, it's me affecting everybody else that works for me and everyone around me and my mom.
Exactly, and I want to point out, these people he's killing are in a mall. Like, who the fuck goes to a mall these days? Not people who matter if they die. That's just like...
But see, like, a lot of people would be like, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, what a pussy, like such a fucking coward move," right? I'm like, no, like I just care more about my family than I care about random people.
I came to the same conclusion you did. I was like, fucking leave, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, shooting mall people. What about fuck off?
So here's a couple things. So does that change? I mean, obviously that changes. Like, you have your family with you, and then like you know that they're coming to you. Then like you kind of have to fight and like tell them to retreat while you hold the line.
No, I'll tell you the real answer for me, right?
Okay.
Like, that's my it's the first thing in my head would be, okay, the safest thing is to run. But if I take this guy out, it's gonna be great for the podcast.
See, is that why you're the sword in your sword and shield relationship?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Clickbait. Man,
I'd be like, I gotta think of the tagline.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Well, after I double tap him, I need to say something, right? I need to be like... but that's what you say. See, you influence people with media, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're influencing people with your music.
Yeah, I'm trying. I didn't do one this week though. I decided
Right.
take one break and then take 1 week off, because every third.
Is she still making music? I haven't listened to any of it. She's not making music. She's using AI to make music for her. That's what she's doing.
Because I carry a gun. Like, I feel like if you do that, you have kind of a lot of responsibility, like compared to a person that doesn't, like in public. So it's like I read a book from this guy where he was talking about killing people. And it's like the whole book was about, like,
wait. You feel like that? What? No, you do. What? Wait, let's hear that again. Let's hear that again. No. Go back. You're not getting out of this one.
The trailer for that as well. That's why there was no video this week.
I can't find it. Anyway, I think it was something like he screamed for his local sports team or something. When attacking football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Say it again, Leaflit.
I thought about all this stuff because I read a book. from because I carry a gun. Like, I feel like if you do that, you have kind of a lot of responsibility, like compared to a person that doesn't. Like,
I feel like if you do that, yeah, you feel that way. Yeah, really. Yeah, if I'm carrying a gun, I guess I kind of feel like maybe I got like more responsibility, perhaps.
I read a book from this guy where he was just talking about killing people. And it's like the whole book was about like what you have to do to kill people. It was interesting.
Okay. Why did you read this book, Leaflit?
Because of self-defense.
Self-defense.
Yeah, because
that makes sense. Yeah,
because like if I can't pull the trigger, then what's the point of carrying a gun? There's no point.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, intimidation, I suppose.
Yeah, but then there's risks involved too with carrying, right? So.
Yeah, true.
I think the way you kill someone is you just point at the gun and start blasting. Right? Try not to think about it. Try not to think about the consequences too much. That's all you can do. But don't worry, Leaflit. You'll never have to kill anyone. You're too fucking pussy.